We're going to solve this system of equations by using elimination. So the idea with elimination is that you're going to either add or subtract the equations together to cancel a variable. And it works really nicely on this one because here we have y's, and if we go with y minus y, they will cancel each other out and turn into 0. So I am going to subtract the equations. Now you want to be careful, subtraction, like when we had polynomials, if I subtract this equation, you want to make sure that this negative goes with the y, it also goes with the x, and it'll go with the -1, which will turn it into a +1. So I'm going to make little marks over here to remind myself that those have changed. Now I really don't need this minus outside, so I'm going to turn that into a plus because we've already changed the signs. If I go straight down, y minus y is going to give us 0, which is what we wanted. The 3x squared, it doesn't have any x squareds in the second equation, so it's not going to change. The -6x and -x will become -7x. And the +1 will give us a +2. So now we have a quadratic equation. We already have everything off to one side, so now our job is to factor. And with this trinomial, since the leading coefficient is not 1, we're going to take the leading coefficient of 3, multiply it by 2, that gives us 6. We're going to take that middle coefficient, which is -7, and we're going to find numbers that multiply to give us 6 and add to give us -7, which will be -6 and -1. We're just going through the process of factoring by grouping, so I'm going to split the -7 into -6x and -1x using those two numbers that I just found. Cut it right down the middle. We're looking for the GCF of 3x squared and -6x. That is going to be 3x. That will leave x minus 2 when we factor that out. Now on the second group, we have a -1x plus 2. And remember, I need these parentheses to match. So I see that the signs are different. I'm going to factor out a -1 because I know that will change the signs. Now my parentheses match. And if I write it in factored form, I'll take that x minus 2 that they have in common. And what's left would be 3x minus 1. Then using the 0 product property, we will set each factor equal to 0 and solve. And it looks like we have 2 values for x. So we have 2 points where these equations intersect, sorry. That is an equal sign. Okay, so at x equals 2 and x equals 1/3, this parabola is our first one because it has x squared, and the line will intersect. So we need the other half of our points. I'm going to go back to that original equations. I'm going to use this one. You could plug it into either one, but we originally had x minus 1. I'm going to plug in the 2 that we just found. 2 minus 1 will give us 1. So the first point that they intersect is at 2, 1. And if I repeat with our second value of x, again plugging into x minus 1, that'll give us -2/3. So the second point where these functions intersect will be 1/3, comma, -2/3.